Hey guys, welcome to the stream. It's day 73 and today we are looking at making the Mega Crazy Asset Replacer. Okay, now that's trademark, by the way. Now the reason for doing this is after our optimization streams and trying to find out the problems with our weather systems, I came to the grand conclusion that it wasn't really the weather systems that were causing all the problems. Okay? What the problems amounted to was the fact that none of our meshes are instanced. Okay, now if you don't know what that means that the system that Unreal Engine uses to like draw foliage and all of that stuff is all done by instanced meshes, okay, which are much faster to draw, etc. Okay, so what you would have to do in that instance is go through every single map here and change every single mesh to an instance mesh, which is obviously going to be one hell of a lot of work. So our next problem is that there are a lot of meshes that are named the same thing as other meshes. For example, SM_rock. There's more than one version of that particular rock, but they're obviously in different directories, etc. So my conclusion was that we basically go in and create instance meshes for our rocks. Then we automatically create a widget that updates those particular rocks, replaces them with the instance mesh in the level. Now it's going to do it at editor time, right? So all we need to do is go in and create an editor widget, which is going to be the Mega Crazy Asset Replacer, and replace every single mesh of a particular type with its instanced version. Okay? Now, if you had to do that, then if we have a look here at the maps, right, you can see here that there is an absolute crap ton of maps. Okay? There are over 50 maps in here, and some of them are split into subsections. Okay? So what I've done is I've created a structure. Let's have a look at that, and we'll come back to this in a minute and I'll explain this part. Okay, so in editor helpers I have created a struct mesh replace, and we're getting the static mesh name, the static mesh blueprint, and the replacement blueprint. Okay, then we've created a data table, and I had a couple in here a minute ago, but once I came across this other issue I decided to replace it, and from there we can see what process now we need to actually do. Right, now what we need to do in the first instance is make sure that number one all of our rocks are actually uniquely named. Okay, so basically what I've been doing is been going through some of these and like adding a suffix to them for, you know, to make them unique. Because basically we've got this boulder sandy, and in mossy it was called the same thing. So in the mossy rocks, I've basically went in there, and if we look, I've called them all underscore mossy to give them a unique name. Okay, now we might be a couple of minutes on this, but it's all going to be worth it in the end when it all comes together, right? I've already kind of tested it and it's actually all working, right? But we do need to do this because this was just as I was working on our widget, editor helper widget, we came across this issue, and so we basically need to fix it. Okay, so I'm going to do these ones, and I'm going to do the snowy rocks, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this, right? I'm basically going to make it so that all you need to do is hit a button and every single mesh will be replaced with its instanced version. Okay, now as I said, if you sit and do this manually, I already know that there's like about 16,000 meshes at least. Okay, and I'll show you that in a minute as well. I'll show you how I calculate that. It all comes as part of the way I'm doing this. You'll see how I build it up, right? And how we're going to make this all work. So anyway, guys, out there in YouTube land, how are you guys today? Hope yous are well, if there's indeed anybody actually watching. But for the moment, we've just got to do this little bit of maintenance work here. Now, the other thing we're going to have to do is also go into the original meshes and set up LODs for them. Okay, because that is another crucial aspect that we have neglected. Right? So the first thing that you should really do is, if you've got meshes and either from the store, free or bought or whatever, is if you're going to use a lot of them, then you really want to make an instance version of it and then make sure it's got level of detail settings done. Now it's up to you whether you go mad and create like your own level of detail settings, or you can let Unreal Engine do its thing and it will set them up for you automatically, which is obviously a decent start, but it's not going to be absolutely optimized. But yeah, so this in effect will give us a way to basically hit a button and make our game automatically faster if we are using the instance meshes. Now there is another stage to this that's going to take time, but it's all going to be worth it in the end, because most of the steps, like this one for example, is pretty much going to have had to have been necessary anyway, right? Because you would get confused if you were replacing these particular meshes. If they were all the same name but the actual meshes were different, right, you would end up in a complete mess. But we hope that we can avoid this by setting up unique versions of all our meshes, right? So I've got to do the same with this. As I said, it is a little bit of manual work to start with, but it was going to be manual work anyway, whichever way you sliced it, okay? So not an awful lot of point in complaining about it, and it's probably going to have a huge effect on our game once we can implement this, and we can also actually test it out in the test map as well. Did I just... Right, I don't know what happened there, but we're not going to worry about it. Right, we just need to get through this, and then we can get on to some actual work. Well, this is work as well, but we can get on to actually stuff that you guys can see things happening, and how I went about this. And there's one thing I want to do here. Because we're on the ball, pun intended, we're going to keep you up to date with the Champions League scores. How's about that? So at the moment, after 10 minutes, AC Milan are beating Tottenham 1-0 in Milan, and PSG and Bayern are still 0-0. So Spurs keeping up their absolutely crazy form, which means that one week they can beat anybody and the next they lose to anybody. So if we just go through this. This is where streaming actually comes in a bit handy, because you just kind of get on with this. This is the type of thing you'd put off and put off and put off until you were kind of forced to do it. But if you can sit here, talk to people in chat, do your thing, get on with it, then it doesn't quite seem so bad in the end. Well, that's how I feel about it anyway, but you guys might like just like sticking on some music and doing this. Right, we're just going to do it with this so I can show you a couple of examples, right? And then we'll show you the MegaCrazyAssetReplacer actually doing something. It's not going to, I don't know if it's going to replace stuff today, but we'll certainly be in a position where we could, in theory. That's at least the target, let's say. That we're going to open up the test map, we're going to bring in some meshes that aren't instance meshes, and then we're going to replace them with actual instance meshes. Okay, that is the plan or the target for today, and if we get that working, that's going to be fantastic, because that means that a lot of the legwork will have been done. And as I said, there's over 16,000 meshes, and I'll show you how I came to that number in a minute, right, across all the different maps. Okay, now I'm not sure about oh, that's snowy apparently. I'm not too sure if instance meshes load faster or not, because they're based on a mesh that it already has to load anyway, so I'm probably skeptical of whether it'll actually load the levels faster, but I know what it will do. It'll level stream in between levels faster. That's one thing it'll do, which means that your game would potentially have the less potential for pop-in. Right, so the first thing we're going to do here, right, so that's us done all of them, right? So what we can do is, we know that there's an SM rock, okay? SM underscore rock. Now, how do I know that? Well, if I show you the MegaCrazyAssetReplacer, right? What I can do is, I can click on this. In fact, I'm going to need to refresh this probably. I'm going to close it, right? And then I'm going to explain what it does. Okay? So, we go to our editor helpers, right? And that's our struct, so we don't need that. So we need our MegaCrazyAssetReplacer, and we say run the widget. Okay, so if we get the stats, it's got nothing to check, right? Because what it does is it goes into the data table, and then it starts comparing the data table to what we've actually got in the map. Okay, and then it either adds them to this column, or it adds them to this column. Now, this column is the column that does not have an instance, right? So let's just do that then. Let's actually do this, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a custom event. Okay, and I'm going to say no instance. This isn't going to work. Right, we'll leave this custom event there, but that's not going to work, because the fact that it doesn't exist means that I can't really check it, because it doesn't exist. So I can't find out that if it actually exists or not. No, I'm talking rubbish. That isn't true. We can check it, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to get all actors of class, right? And it's going to be a skeletal mesh actor. Okay. So that's going to bring us back every single skeletal mesh actor in our scene. Okay, and then in here we're going to say for each do we need a break in here? Probably, but it doesn't really matter. We don't need performance here, we just need it to work, okay, because it's an editor helper. So what we're going to do is we've got meshes no instance, right? We're going to create exactly the same thing, except we're going to say no mesh exists. Okay, now the way we're going to find that out is by going to our data table and seeing if the mesh exists for that particular name of the mesh. Okay, so we're going to say get data table rows. Okay, we're going to go here. No, we're not. Right, so this is mesh replacement, right? Then we're going to do a for each loop here. So this is going to do a job for us, right? This is going to tell us which which instances we actually need to create. Okay, and it's going to tell us the name of it. Okay, and then we can find an instance of it, click a button, that's going to take us to the a static mesh in the scene, and then we can just click on that and it'll already be selected, right? And I'll show you that in a second, right? And we can then click on the magnifying glass and find out exactly where that mesh is and then create an instance of it, okay? Or an instance version of it. So that's what we're going to do. So we need our first job, and this is going to do it for us, right? So we're going to clear this. Clear. And I don't know whether I'll do this or I'll get Kent to do this, but I'm going to try and make it so Kent can basically just click on a few buttons and it's all going to do it for him, and he'll understand it, and it's just going to work and do exactly what we need done. Okay, so we're going to get data table row okay, and the row name is going to go there, and we're going to go to here, and we're going to get this, then we're going to add unique. Okay, that's basically the end result of what we're going to do here. So what we're doing is getting the actor of class, right? Now we've got a bit of code that's going to get what we need. So it's this bit here, right? So we get our actor, we get the static mesh component, we get the static mesh, and then we get a display name. Okay. Now we don't get the display name of the static mesh actor, because that would be like SM underscore mesh underscore whatever name Unreal Engine gives it within the level. What we need is the actual display name of the static mesh, okay? Which is why we do this one. Okay, so we duplicate that. And we drag it over here a bit. And it's going to be right there. Okay. Then a skeletal mesh actor. We see what? Ah, maybe I need to do that. So that's mesh. Don't get it. Ah, I've done skeletal mesh. Aha, it's a static mesh actor. There you go, that's why it wasn't doing that. We're going to have to redo that. Done goofed there. What happens? Do for each. Now, we're not going to sort these into any particular order, right? Alphabetical or that, we don't really need to. Right, we're just going to go with what we've got. And it's just basically a list anyway, so you'd have to work your way through it no matter what, right? So it doesn't actually matter what order you do it in. Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to find out how many versions of that mesh there are, right, in the scene, because we don't want to start making instance meshes if there only is one of them in the whole level, right, in the whole map for the whole game, right? That would be a bit of overkill. Right, so we break that, and we'll move this across a bit, and we'll see the results in a second. There was something else I wanted to show you guys, but I've kind of got sidetracked, and I don't want to show you it without me setting some of it up. And I don't actually want to do it unless, I think I've mentioned this before, is trying to set up voice attack with Unreal Engine to see if it actually makes life easier or if it's just too pernickety, right? And what I want to do is, if I pull out here, right, this is my goal. If I pull out here and say branch, I want it to do a branch. Right, that is my goal, but obviously I can't do that for now because I haven't set it up, but I'll have to do a little bit of playing about with it to see if I can get it to actually do it. right? And I want to just be able to say like for next loop, for each loop, delay, blah blah blah. But I'm going to have to look through all the shortcut keys to see where we're limited or not. It would be nice to be able to say rename, and then it just hits F2 for you and it starts a rename thing. But anyway, yeah. So I'm going to save that, and we'll see if this actually does anything. We don't want to hit play. I keep doing that. Right. Now, we've got that the wrong way around. This should actually be false. Right? And we've got to actually add something. Right? So it's this one here. It's the one coming out the level. Is the name we need. So we can plonk that there. And press get stats. And apparently it's not doing anything. And the problem with this is, right, that you can't put breakpoints in. Get in static mesh actor. This ain't going to work the wrong way around, is it? Ah, okay. Okay. Right, we need to do this slightly differently. Right. What we need to do oh, wait a minute. I mean, that's not going to... Well, it might. We need to... Once we've done that... And we do this either found or not found. No, we don't. No, we don't. Right. Ah, yeah, we do. We do. But you'll notice that I wasn't actually doing what I needed to do, which is then draw, add to this. Right? Which is basically doing this. It's okay, I'm going to fix this up in a minute to do exactly what I want, but that's what we need to do. Right? So what we need to do is add our widget, which is going to go in here. Then we're going to say count. We're going to reset this to 0 as well. Okay. So that's that done. Okay. So let's try that. Okay, that's not working. So let's have a look and see what it's actually doing. Count 0. That there. Right, now, so it goes and gets every single mesh actor. Right. And then we get the data table row names. And we didn't put the branch back in. So go to that, then false. If that equals that, right, I don't think this is quite right yet. Actually, maybe. Okay, it's not. Right, we're going to do this a little different way. Now let's see if it's doing this. It's doing simple tasks. This is the wrong thing. Yeah, that's not going to work. It's still not doing it. I thought that was the answer there, but obviously not. Simple text, GP identified. This one is GP identified, right? Kind of the other way down now, isn't it? It's kind of not the one that's identified. And this is the one that's kind of no instance. Right, so why is this not working? So we're checking this against this. Right, we're getting that name there. Now, the interesting thing we could do here is we could just say true or false, right? So basically, if we click on that, what's going on? What is going on with that? Right, I'm going to remove that. Let's see if the first part's working or not, shall we? So I'm just going to do that. Right. I'm going to undo that. Plug that in there. Right. No instances. Right, we'll get this out of the way. Let's save that. Bring up our widget. I've closed it down for some reason. Right, we'll say run. Get stats. Oh, I think I've changed the names of these or something. Right, okay, that's... I didn't change the button to do the right thing. Hold on, idiot. Right, this button's doing the wrong thing at the moment. Okay? You shouldn't be doing this. Right? You should be doing this. right? No instance. Actually, you know what? It should be doing this. Right, it should be doing this, but the thing is, it should be doing no instance first. Right, that's what it should be doing. Right, getting a bit ahead of myself there. Right, that was the problem. So there we go. You see. Obviously it's not worked right, but at least we know it's doing something now. And that should be count. That goes in roll, save that. Get stats. Okay. So that's telling us every single one. We obviously need to wrap that with a scroll bar, just like this one, right? But that's telling us which thing has no instance whatsoever. Okay? This row is going to tell us which instances are in the map that need changed. Okay, so this is where these don't exist, and this is where they exist as a skeletal mesh actor and not the right thing. Okay, so with that in mind, you can see where we're beginning to go with this, and it's quite cool. Right, now the interesting thing is we can probably do that, compile that, and it's not bringing us back, right? So we can go and do this in a different way, which was what I was going to maybe do anyway. This isn't going to do it anyway because there's going to be no room. There's no rows found at the moment, right? So we need a baseline. I believe we need a baseline for this, right? So that's what we're going to do, right? Now, here's the interesting thing. If ¿Dónde va? Okay. Right, we're going to do this in a slightly different way. This isn't going to work, right? Unless we've got a value, okay? Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to set up our first value. Now, I've already done this, right? But I'm going to have to re-put it in the database. Now, this is where I'm going to check things, because basically SM rock we've got this one, we've got this one, we've got this one, and we need to find out where these are, okay? So first of all, we're going to have a break for 2 minutes, or a little bit more than that. We're going to have a break, have a cigarette, and then we'll come back and we'll sort this out. Okay, and it might be easier to actually sort this one out. Right, nah, we as well doing it for the start, right? But we've got these three rocks, right? One's in this ice cool demo environment. Then we've got this one, which is in the environment rock, which looks exactly the same. Then we've got this one, which is in the scraped rocks. So we've definitely got these two, so we need to sort out one from the other. Right, so the way we could actually do that is we could rename this, right? We could say scraped. Okay. Then you'll notice here I've got instance stuff here, okay? Now I think we'll delete these so that I can show you me building it up again. But what we need here is it's in infinity weather, right? So I'm going to rename this, and then if we find anything in that particular directory, we're going to call it IW, okay? And then this one, we've got one left, right? And what was it? Right, and we'll call it, rename it, Ice Cool. Now this isn't going to be necessary for every single one, and it might actually be easier as well, but we're going to have to do it because we have to identify which particular rock, which particular version of it, and then create an instance version of it, and then do what we've got to do, right? But the good thing is now, yeah, we need a version of it in here, right? Well, we need one version of something, okay? So I'm going to be right back. As I said, check out the description for links to the games Discord, my personal Discord, Patreon, and my previous game on Steam, and I shall be back in about 4 minutes. Don't go anywhere, folks. Alright guys, we are back. I've just got a couple of ibuprofen to take. I've twisted my hip, and I think it's the way I'm sitting at the computer at the moment. Not at this very moment, but the way I've got things set up. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do this from the kickoff. Right, I'm going to delete these ones I did earlier, and we shall basically do it from the start. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to delete that. Okay, and I'm going to delete that because we don't want anything standard like SMRock02. We want things to be a bit, well, especially with rocks, we want it to be a bit more descriptive and unique. So if you guys give me 2 seconds here. A little Champions League update for you. It's still 1-0 to Milan against Tottenham in Milan. It's still 0-0 PSG Bayern Munich. Now, it was a terrible start for Tottenham, but I'm pretty sure Antonio Conte is going to be pretty happy if that finishes 1-0, right? Even though it's not a great start. I think he'd come away from Milan with a 1-0 and think, yep, that's alright. Okay, so, next issue is we need our first one. Okay, we need our very first rock, and that's going to get us going. Right now, if we click on our very first rock, there we have SM Rock Ice Cool. Okay, so I'm going to go in there, and this is the rock thing, and I'm going to create a folder, and I'm going to call it Instanced. Now this might be just for one rock, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's going to serve us well. Then in here we're going to do that, we're going to do actor, we're going to do BP, inst, and then we're going to call it SM underscore rock underscore ice cool. So we're going to give it the exact same name. Then we're going to rename it and get this name here, which is the actual mesh name, right, just as a copy paste thing. We're going to go in here, then we're going to add a component, and it's going to be instance mesh. Okay, that's all we're going to do. We're going to go in here, we're going to click that, we're going to paste our name in to find the rock. There's only one. Job's a good one. Right, compile that, event graph, delete these out, compile. That's it. Okay, that is us. We have created our very first instance mesh that's going to be used in our level once we use the MegaCrazyAssetReplacer. Okay, so to get us on our way, and yep, actual fact, right, I'll tell you what, this is actually wrong, right? What we want to do, right, is get all actors a class, right? And then we're not going to do this. We're going to do something similar, right? But we're not going to do it here. In actual fact, what we're going to do is we're going to drag this out a bit. Right? We're going to drag this back a bit. Then we're going to break that. And what we'll do is we'll remove them. Okay? So we're getting them. Okay? And we're adding them all. Okay? So now you'll notice get stats. I wasn't expecting that, I can tell you that. Right, let's have a look to see what we've done here. Ah, right, okay, we did this. And then we hit our side button. Oh, we're making a mess of this. One of those things, hitting the wrong buttons at the wrong time. Right, this goes in here. Right. Now we should be rolling. There we go. Okie dokie. Right, now, getting a bit ahead of myself here. Right, but we need to get this widget. We need to go to the designer. Right, and we've got this canvas panel, scroll box, this one. Right, and we need to do that here. Right, so we basically say wrap with scroll box. It's going to be fill. Then we get this one and we wrap with canvas panel. Right. And we'll look at the settings here, fill. Then we anchor it. So this one is fill. This one we redo the anchors. Right. And this vertical box, fill. Save that. And now we've got all of our stuff. Okay. And if we wanted to be super cool about it, we could get our simple text, right, and then wrap this with a scale box. And there we go. Okay, that's not kind of working for me, so we'll go back to here. And do that. Okay. Get stats. And it's not working. Fantastic. Gotta love it. Okay, that was just a little bonus that obviously right, so that I'm not even going to worry about that for the moment. Right. But anyway, what we're looking for here is, here it's here. We've got SM, Rock, Scraped, IW and Cool. That's the three we did, okay? And so, our next port of call is to go to our mesh replace. Then add, then paste. We've got our ice cool, right? The static mesh is that one, and we're going to replace it. We paste again and we say instance, okay? And that sets us up ready to go. Now, our next issue here is that we need to remove this from our list, okay? So we're going to do a sequence on completion, and this is going to be the thing that checks if it exists in our data table. Okay, so we're going to get this, we're going to get our array, we're going to do a for each. We can break that for now. We don't need this at all. I'm going to move this all up a bit so we've got a bit more space. Going to move this. Actually, I'm going to leave it there. Right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move this down. Right. And I think there is one more thing. No, we're alright. We're okay. Or are we? Yeah, we are. Right. And we are copying this again, or equalizing it. Right. So we're doing that. We've got our array index here. Right, so if it does equal it, then we're getting this. And what we're doing is removing the index. Okay. So that goes in there. Okay, so now when we look at this, This is the one we've got, and it's actually the other way around. Okay, we want it the other way around. You'll notice now that these are all the names of all the things that we can find, right? These are all the static meshes. Okay? Just in this map. Now you'll notice we've got one ice cool out of 1,235 meshes. There is one instance of this. Okay? Right, now there is an issue with this. We do that. We may actually be doing this the wrong way around. Tell you what I'm going to do is we're going to do it the other way round. Right. So we're going to do that. Then we can drag that over there. We can do that. Right. We need to think about how we're doing this. Hey Minor OG. No, this is Unreal Engine. Minor OG. This is Unreal Engine. Right. This is not right. Well, basically because I'm not drawing this, of course. Right. I know. There's two of us. I've got a level designer, modeler type person. Right, what's going on? What is going on here? Right, so let's think about this. Are no instance, right? Well, that's not going to work, is it? That's not going to bloomin' work. I need this back. Right, thank you. Right. so this. Yeah, metaphorically speaking, I'm the coder. Right, but what I'm doing is I'm actually creating a widget helper for the level designer. I'm creating a tool for him to use for optimization, basically. Right, so thank you. There is something there, by the way, in here. Maybe I'm not clearing it. Am I clearing it? Or do we have something in designer that's a bit messed up? I don't think so. We've got button stats, canvas panel, GP identified. That's the wrong one. 40 years. Right, so we've got a scroll box, canvas panel, GP no instance, we need to clear it, I think. Right. So, in here, this is the one that's drawing it. So, we'll just basically grab this. And go clear children. Put that in there, that in there, and that should stop this weird thing going on. If you mean developing in Unreal Engine about 3 years, we don't want to do that. Right, there's some weird thing going on. Yes, in the description. We've got this SM rock guys, cool. Right, I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know what's going on there. Am I doing something weird? No, I don't think so. Unless it's doing something here. We're not going to worry about that for the minute, actually. Right? Although we should. But what we should do is prove that. Now remember, we're looking for rock, ice, cool. Right? And it shouldn't be here. And there you go, it's not there in the list. Right, now, I know what's going on here. Normally, no. Normally, no, it doesn't. And, yep. So this has got to go here. That's going to solve our problem. Okay, so let's explain this. These are kind of doing the same thing, right? But we need... We've got SM Rock. Yeah, these are actually kind of doing the same thing, which is cool. But anyway, these are the meshes in the level that need replaced. These are the meshes with no instance. Okay? That's the difference. So, the point being here, right, that if I now click on this, that's not what I wanted to do. You'll notice that it selects another actor, right? And this is going to give us this here. So now we can use our browsing features to find that, create the instance, and go from there. Okay? So, Bayern Munich have taken the lead in Paris to lead PSG 1-0. Right, so in this current map there is 1,235 static mesh actors, right? These are all the static mesh actors. Okay? And this list at the moment is going to be fairly similar because we don't have any instances yet set up for all of these. Okay? And then at the end of the day, the level designer is just going to be able to hit this button, right? And it's just going to go and get the instance mesh and replace the static mesh with the instance mesh in the level that they select. So basically you'll be able to do a bulk, so it's just basically going to go through every single one of these, and if it's got an instance mesh, it will place the instance mesh where the static mesh was, with the same transform, the same scale, etc, 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 right? So we're basically, if you had to do this manually, then basically the level designer would have to do the whole level again, right? So that is what we are trying to avoid. So I'm doing this programmatically so that he doesn't need to do really anything. Okay, but what we want to do here is now do a browse to that. Okay, then we're going to do a rename, but that's just to basically get the name. Okay, then as I've said to you before, I'm going to create a new folder and I'm going to say instanced meshes. Then we're going to create an actor, and it's going to be BP underscore inst underscore then the name of our mesh that we're going to use. Open it up, go to the event graph, delete these, go to the root, add component, instance mesh, click that in there, click this to add the mesh, paste our new name in, click that, compile, done, go to DT mesh, add a new one, paste, go to here, paste, click that, go to here, paste, click that one, save, and now I can demonstrate in a second, because we've not updated this, right? That was smrock_IW for Infinity Weather. There it's there, right? Now, if I've done all that last part correct, which I did really fast, and that's going to be the speed you'll be able to create these at, right? When you're creating them, this should disappear. This one should disappear. So it should go rack, rock scraped, rope 1, okay? Rock scraped, rope 1. Right? So now, if we want to, we can actually, hi Chaz Gillespie, how are you doing? So basically we are on the road now to doing our thing. Okay, now what I can do here is I can do any one that I want, right? But I want to make this even easier for our level designer, right? We want to make this as painless as possible for both me and the level designer, right? So you'll notice here that I've got Rock 6, which is SM Rock Infinity Weather, right? Now, if I want to change this, what I want to do is click on that, right? Now, it has selected it somewhere. Right, I'm guessing it's in a subfolder. Maybe I've got to have these open. I'm not 100% sure. We have kind of started just working on this. That's new folder. Right, so I don't know where that is. So in this case, we'll forget that for now. So we'll go this one. Right. And that's not it. Okay, well, there was one thing I was going to do here anyway in our editor widget, and that is to deselect everything. Right? We want to basically deselect everything before we then select something. Okay? So this is the thing we want to do. Right, but we kind of want to do this again, but basically set everything to unselected, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. Right, as I said, I'm not bothered about this code being fancy or anything. Don't care, right? This doesn't have to be performative. It just needs to do a job, okay? That's it. Just needs to do a job. So what we're going to do now is do a sequence here. So I'm just absolutely hacking this together as fast as I can, and by hacking I don't mean hacking, I actually mean just writing the damn thing. Right, so we're just going to do that. Right, so every single thing, every single static mesh, we're going to deselect it, right? And then we're going to select the one we want. Should be selected. Okay, that's the plan. So we should be able to check this, right? So we've got rock 6 selected and it is a small rock IW, okay? So if we click on that and we click anything, this should be deselected in the editor, in theory. Look at that. Well, that didn't work. Huh. That wasn't so great. That wasn't so great. So there's something wrong here. You know something? This is working. It's just not updating the details. This is actually working, it's just not updating in the details. Right now, I don't know how to do that, but I guess the only way is to find out how to do it, which is half the fun. Now, how do you refresh the details panel? There's a very good question. Not that. We need editor stuff. Editor stuff is what we need. Right, editor. Oh, we don't need that. Editor. Asset. Right, we're not doing any of that stuff. Okay, so that's not quite what we want. It's not the content browser. It's not metadata. Brush class template. Is that it? That could be it. I'm going to do that. Right, and I've got absolutely zero idea what I'm doing here. Right, we're not spawning. Right, I think I'm going to have to do a Google on this. Is there some kind of button that will refresh this? I've never noticed a refresh button on this because it's not normally the way you do it. Panel. It's a panel. Let's go panel. It's actually a tab. Editor subsystem. Get panel extension subsystem. No idea what that is. Dependencies. Well, don't know what that is. This is where we're getting a little bit not confused, but not really done anything with this. So refresh, details, panel, UE4, and my eyes are watering. I don't know. Excuse me. If this is the right answer now. Oh, my eyes are hurting. Right, I don't know how to get this. All the answers in C++. It's a property editor module by the looks of it. Right, what's this about? It's a struct. I'm like MaterialNet Online subsystems. Utilities, cast down, enum, struct. Let's do that. Let's get editor. Right, no idea what that is. Right, I'm just wondering here if set actor selection state, if there's something in here that we can do. Right. Actor editing. There might be something in here, right? Right, we're not creating an asset. We're not doing any of that stuff. We're not doing any of that stuff. Right, so you would think that there's something here that maybe if you switch something off and on, it'll basically update. Right? Now, let's see if we've got anything here. Nothing in there. And there's absolutely nothing within the editor that allows us to refresh. Right. Right, for you guys in the chat that maybe just joined or whatever, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to refresh this. Right? Hi, quit abandon. Right, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to refresh our details panel, right? If we get the stats, right, this tells us what we've got. This tells us the instances that we need to create. This tells us what instances are in the level. Sorry, this tells us what static meshes are in the level, right? Now, when we click one of these, it should select it on the right hand side, right, in our outliner, right? So if we click SM Stone 10, you'll notice, right, that it does change. Right, now I don't know where that particularly is. And maybe that's a bad example. Let's say that one, right? Now that goes to there. Right, now you'll notice that that is actually correct at the moment. Now we went to rock 1, right? Which is this one. And you'll notice that if we click off and on it, it does get it in the end, right? But you'll notice that when we did it at first, it doesn't change, right? We've now selected rock 02, right? But we're still here on rock 01, right? Right, so if we click on here, it does select the right one. but it doesn't update this. Right? And that's the problem. And it doesn't update that until you select something else. Now you'll notice that if I do that, it doesn't change it. It changes the selected actor, but it doesn't change what's selected in here. Right, and this is the issue. I can't find how you do that. Right, and I'm going to have to go, sorry quit, but I'm going to have to go and look at documentation on this. I don't even know if it's possible in blueprints. But we'll just have to check it out and find out. Right, but thank you guys for watching. If you've enjoyed it, hit like and subscribe. Check the description for links to the game's Discord, my personal Discord, Patreon, and my previous game on Steam. I shall be back at 8 PM tonight, 8 PM Central. Hope to see you there. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye for now.